picture here, so just bear with me while I get it all. Okay, and then have we pressed record on this yet?
What?
Have we pressed record on this yet?
No.
Okay, do you have the mics? Oh, there's one. There's one. Okay. Okay, and then you're gonna have to start that whole thing real quick while we get the lives going here. Okay, my mic is live. Is your mic live? Not quite, but you're getting there. Oh, you are live. Okay. And then, okay, you're live also. Can you see me on that live or? Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, let's see if we can get a few people popping in. Hi, Abby. We're going to be talking about the best parts of our arrangement tonight. So definitely stick around or pop back in. It's going to be a fun discussion tonight. We're on episode 8 of Exes to Allies. Just sharing with a few of my personal friends. Okay, view is good. Okay, wonderful. Let's go pin our goal here. We're looking for 20 heart puffs, just a little engagement to get us going in the algorithm. How are you tonight, Abby? Okay, episode 8. This week is the fun part. Yay! I'm actually really excited for this week because we get to talk about all of the best parts of our... Whoa. We've got an unstable stool here. Whoa.
Under. That head in the race.
We're about to have America's Funniest Home Videos instead of Exes to Allies. Lord have mercy.
You're still not far enough.
That's okay. You can push it back a little, maybe, on that side. Yeah, just like shove it. There you go. Hi, guys. If you're over here tuning in, welcome. We're live here and we're live here. And we're live here. Okay. So, what's up?
Nothing. You're funny.
Oh. We're live from every angle. Hey. So this week is episode 8, okay? We're almost done with the season, with the entire show, if you will. It's not really a show, we're just sharing our story, but we do have the visual available on YouTube, of course. This week we get to talk about, like I said before, all the best parts, but what does that mean, right? What works for us? What have we learned? What are our favorite parts? And then maybe just some fun stories and funny, anecdotes about the shenanigans that happen in our real life day to day. So let's start with the first part. I'm curious from your point of view, what element has worked the best for us, like as a household, like cohesively, and then what is your personal highlight, like if you could say like one highlight from the arrangement itself of the kids and I living with you and you helping me to stabilize, like what would be your highlight? So the best part just cohesively, and then your favorite just highlight personally.
Okay. Gosh, that's tough. So, highlight, is that the first one?
You can say that first if you want, yeah.
Okay.
Whichever, just like...
Highlight to me has been like just the fact that it's fun to feel a part of a family. It's fun to like get little cards from the kids, and you know, like you've always been nice and got me like a basket for Easter or whatever, and it's just nice to be a part of that, because like normally I would be alone, you know, like,
so just like the family aspect of like the togetherness and getting to experience like the day-to-day joys of
Christmas
the kids
was
and, like,
fun, and you know, just that kind of stuff, like Halloween.
We make really pretty great
It's
memories.
I love doing all that kind of stuff, for sure.
That's a great highlight. I love that. I think that's wonderful. I would absolutely agree. I think that's a wonderful highlight. And then just in general, what part do you feel works the best for us?
Gosh. It's just, I think we're able to be in the same space and not have to feel like completely like dying. You know, I have my own space, so I can come in my own room like if I need space. And
so like the actual cohabitation being like a copacetic
I mean,
arrangement.
I think it works just fine.
That's refreshing for me to hear, because honestly sometimes I really do wonder and worry about if we're like taking over your home too much, you know what I mean? Because there is like we do kind of seep into every crack and crevice.
I definitely feel like, oh my gosh, my house has been completely ruined in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But
I'll help you get it back.
I also know that like the house is it's not expensively made. So, you know.
Oh, like the quality, it's easy for something.
The walls and stuff like that.
And kids are rough, and my kids especially, because they're growing through a lot of things and learning how to be in a home and cherish a home and keep a home. Like they've never really learned that before.
Because they haven't had something of their own. Like, I get it.
Well, and even then, like, regardless, because that should still be like the general attitude even towards like a rented home, but it's just never been the priority, because I've always been a single mom, and that I've always just kind of been trying to get them through the milestones, and like, you know what I mean?
It's just tough enough having 3 kids.
Yeah, just the day-to-day, just all the time. Exactly. So we're finally getting to a point where they're age-wise cognizant of, hey, let's be conscientious, let's be respectful of our things, let's take care of them, etc., etc. That is a learned trait. That is something you have to learn, right? But at the same time, they haven't really had that consistently, or nor has that been enforced in any of the places they've lived before now. So that is something obviously that's like not ideal, that the house is like kind of being torn apart in certain ways that are like not ways that we can help, quote unquote, but at the same time that's also not really fair to you. But I'm glad that you feel like the arrangement, as far as like you having your own space, you being able to kind of like retreat and like do your own thing and not feel like you're forced to be in the midst of things, you know what I mean?
I always want to be in the midst of things though, because like there's always something going on. It's definitely never boring. There's always something going on. Like somebody is talking about something, and somebody's crying about something, somebody's hungry, you know, like there's always something. So I definitely don't get bored.
A lot to do, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I would say my highlight is just the collective sense of peace that we have. None of us are really scared or anxious on a day to day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not being scared is actually, I think, something that a lot of people take for granted. I know I took for granted before I knew what it was like to really have to feel unsafe.
Literally, even in your own home.
And terrified and scared of someone that I loved, like that really just changed my brain just was changed from that.
Once you experience that level of terror and like lack of control, you know what I mean? Like your home should feel like a safe space to you, and when you don't have that control anymore and it's not a safe space and you're like conflicted, you don't understand and you don't know what to do or how to change it, and it just that's definitely an experience that changes your brain for sure.
Well, I don't run around the house like making sure everything is locked up. Like I do if I walk by something, I'll lock it up. But
I love that we live in a smart house. I love that we live in a smart house because the cameras and the alarm systems and everything, like if we ever need access to emergency services, I mean, it's there. You know what I mean? If something happens to where the alarm is triggered for any reason, you know what I mean? We've got multiple sheriffs in the neighborhood. The sheriff's department itself is not that far away. Like, I feel safe. I love that we have a smart home. I love that the cameras are like motion activated. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me feel extra safe. But the highlight in general is just the peace and safety aspect of like, we know what to expect. When bedtime rolls around, everyone is tucked into bed. Nobody's creeping in and out. There's not going to be some chaos and drama and lights flipped on and doors slamming. You know what I mean? Like, that part is the highlight for me. There was a couple of years where I truly didn't sleep well consistently for a number of reasons. You know what I mean? And the lack of safety and the lack of peace was like a huge part of that. And then I would say that the thing that I think that works the best in our arrangement is the fact that the kids are not like, I don't want to be here, I don't like this, can we please live somewhere? Like, they are happy. They're satisfied, they feel cared for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there has been zero communication on their end about them not wanting to be here, them not being happy here, and we do check in with them consistently.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that works the best for me, because the arrangement in and of itself was for their benefit. And to make sure that they were getting everything that they needed and that their quality of life did not drastically change given the circumstances. And you have been able to uphold that for them to a point where, even though they are on the other side of the country from everyone they have known and loved their entire lives, they're not unhappy. They don't want to go back. They don't want to leave here. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that for me, I'm like, that was the goal. It's working.
Yeah. I just want them to be happy. Honestly, that's the whole motivation for everything that has happened, is they are innocent human beings and they are fantastic human beings. They don't deserve to go through any kind of trauma, like instability, nothing. They should have a very stable home where they know they can sleep every night and not worry, and go to school and not worry, and
absolutely.
I agree. That's important in my opinion. So.
Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is our personal relationship, our friendship, our like interpersonal dynamic, right? So in one of the episodes previous, we touched on the fact that like we're both dragons, right? We're 12 years apart.
Dragons,
You're a
Chinese zodiac.
Chinese zodiac. We're both very much like astrology, zodiac, woo woo, spiritual minded. Like we're both into that, right? Like the kind of like witchy
I
side
buy
of
into
things,
the natal
like,
chart for sure. Like
absolutely.
Not regular horoscopes that you read on a newspaper or wherever they might be random ad.
No, the actual science of astrology.
But
like,
the whole natal chart,
like
yeah, that I definitely.
So but the interesting and cool part about it is, although we are 12 years apart in age, you are solid Gen X, I am solid millennial, right? We have enough.
Gen X is the best generation.
We have enough shared experience before our shared X. Like, we have enough shared life experience in the sense of, like, social, like, media. You know what I mean? Like, yes, two different generations, but close enough that there are things that we have in common that we relate on a certain
you like
level
a lot
to,
of the
like,
same music as I do. There's a lot of music you like that I don't per se like, but...
And there's a lot of music that you love that I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I've heard this song, but why are you so happy about, the EDM?
Yeah.
This woman, this woman
EDM.
loves EDM music.
Sirius XM EDM, that... BPM, excuse me. I'm all about it.
It gives me anxiety.
I'm all about it.
I can't.
There's certain DJs that are like snooze fest, but like the other ones, it's on.
She's like, yeah,
on like Donkey Kong.
Right. And I'm like, I feel like I want to bash my head into the window. Can we turn it to something else, please?
Oh my god. That's hilarious. It's like, it gives me energy. Like, I normally these days feel like I'm gonna pass out at any given moment. Like, I just feel...
Hashtag mom life.
I just feel exhausted all the time.
Absolutely.
So, you know, when I put on BPM, it gives me energy, and I'm like, yes, I can accomplish things. I can clean the house. I can just get it done. Like, dun, 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 dun.
And that's a living nightmare for me. I'm like, woo, headache, instant headache. I want to hurt something. I want to rip shit apart. I want to fucking break windows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. It's like so crazy. So, it's so funny because, yes, we do not have that in common, but things like the cult classics playlist that I have that has like the songs that everyone knows, like we jam out to that.
Yeah,
like,
well, and also we do both like, 2000 to 2010, like that
oh yeah, absolutely.
Music, like,
absolutely.
That time in music was great, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we have enough in common, enough shared experience that despite like the shared X situation, like we have found common ground, we have found ways that we bond, you know what I mean? Like, moving into your home, I didn't bring a whole lot with me except for the necessities, and so the home that we live in is decorated with your belongings, right?
Yeah.
And you have a sign in the kitchen that says, like, in this kitchen we dance. Hello, that's totally my vibe. And you can, like...
We don't dance enough. We should dance more.
But we do. I mean, we crank it up. Like, the kids will turn on the music on the Alexa and, like, do their own karaoke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like... The vibe in the house is very copacetic. It's very fun. It's very, like, live, laugh, love. And that is how I live my life, and that's how I choose to be in.
Just live in the moment.
And we vibe out that way, and I love that. Like, the double female energy goes really hard, and it really is to the benefit of the children. 100%.
Well, but also, like, I'm pretty handy, and then whatever I can't do, you pretty much can do. So
absolutely.
It's like, we don't really want for a whole lot when it comes to getting shit done. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
One of the other of us is gonna get it done.
And if neither of us knows how or has the experience in something, we are not afraid to look it up, ask a friend, like source it out if we have to, but also if we have to, just DIY and grind it out and figure it out and do it ourselves and make it a learning experience. You know what I mean? And so in that sense of things, I think that's a huge like green flag for our situation, is that the household runs smoothly. There is a general sense of live, laugh, love, and like good vibes, and you know what I mean, like peace and positivity.
Except for at like 7 o'clock in the morning on a school morning. But
well, so listen, here's the thing. Growing pains, and that's valid. Growing pains, because ew, who wants to deal with that? But it is part of having kids and raising them and like, you know, teaching them, and sometimes we don't get enough sleep. You know, there are things that happen.
But like honestly, I believe in a society where you wake up when you wake up, and that is when you do the shit that you need to do. Like, I do not believe in alarm clocks. Like, I would normally wake up on my own at a reasonable hour anyway, just
most
without an
humans
alarm
do.
clock.
It's been scientifically proven.
And it's like, I just want to get away from the alarm clock life, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some old bullshit, pardon my French, but...
No, really though. I mean...
the alarm clock life is not for me.
American lifestyle, low-key, we've talked about it so many times. In the sense of how we prefer to live our lives and like raise a family, quote unquote, even though we're not romantically involved, we are raising a family together. That's what we're doing. Yeah. And the way that we prefer things is not like the American standard. It is the standard of like Switzerland or Fiji, life in Fiji. Like we live life and prefer life a lot different than the like typical American dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I don't really give a shit like about most of it. I just am happy to have a place to call my own. You know what I'm saying? Like the accomplishment of getting this house was so huge for my life.
And honestly, it's such a beautiful thing to be able to like share that with you, and like you have like so I'm so glad that we've gotten to this, because it's like such a side path in the conversation, but it's relevant to something I wanted to talk about. So this home is your first like investment home, right? Like you've had homes before, but never one that like you owned. Like it's not hasn't been your home, right? Exactly. And so when we got here, and even beforehand, you talked about like, hey, I'm trying to buy a house, I'm saving up money, like there's gonna be a budget, it's not just a financial free-for-all, like I have goals, I'm on a path to like getting my life back together after this debacle, right? Like you laid it out and you made it very clear, like I'm inviting you here to my space, but you're not gonna get in the way of what I'm doing. And I was like, word up. I love that for you. Let's make it happen, right? Yeah. And there were a couple times where it was touch and go, and you were like, dude, I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if I should just wait a little bit longer. I don't know if I should pull the trigger on this right away. Right. But you did make that decision for yourself. You made the investment, and we're here in that home. And
the tarot cards told me.
See, once again, spiritual witchy woo woo girls.
Okay. I'm not as witchy woo woo as she is, but I do the tarot cards.
But we have that in common, and it is a general baseline of something that we do get along.
It's pretty spot on every time I do it. Like
okay, right. Yeah. So because to me, you are consulting with your higher self, your like highest spiritual wisdom, and
plus I've got folk looking out for me.
Absolutely. Ancestors, guides, etc.
Ones that I've lost that I miss a whole lot.
Absolutely.
My best friends. Yeah. I know they look out for me for sure.
And so when we first moved in and you did make the investment and you did pull the trigger, you consulted my children, you said, hey, you guys are going to be preoccupying or occupying these spaces, the bedrooms and the bathroom, right on the other side of the house. These are your areas, quote unquote.
Well, I wanted you guys to feel
what
like
paint
it was,
colors do you like?
I wanted you guys to feel like it was your space too.
What's the decor vibe? Like,
so
you know,
I let you guys paint, what you wanted to paint.
It's amazing because, hello, if you watch either one of my channels, either Access to Allies or my personal page, Kylie in the Clouds, you will see I pop in and out of the different rooms in the house, and the kids' room, the boys' room, is a hot mess because the middle wanted pink walls, and we were like, okay, we'll commit to like a half a wall of pink.
Like, I want it to be done.
I want it to be done too, but that's a big commitment because it is pink. Like, it's pink.
Yeah, well,
and
your
then
son wanted it.
He wants the windowsill teal, and then the closet is teal and purple.
Yeah,
like,
let's do it pink and purple.
I love it, but we have not yet finished the project, right? But the thing is it made our middle so happy to get to be a part of the paint color consultation of what is going on the walls. Yeah. You know what I mean? And even when the living room was done, it's multicolored, right? Similar to this vibe, but different colors. It's a multicolored living room, and you asked their opinion. Do you think we should do this? What do you think? I was thinking I would do this, blah, blah.
Right, we all got to vote.
You've continuously involved us, and I think that is such, while not necessary, do you get what I'm saying? Not like, you never owed that to us. It was never an obligation of like, hey, this is a shared space. What do you think about the decor and the colors and the... It was so above and beyond and generous of you to include us in that, and like...
I just wanted you guys to be happy, like, and enjoy, the opportunity, because I didn't know when, like, the kids would get an opportunity to have a house that is their own, you know what I'm saying? And so I wanted them to feel that feeling, like this is their space.
Which is so special, and
I
you
think that's
accomplished
why they feel so, happy here, right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Part of the reason,
Yeah, it's a huge part of the reason, because they feel like those spaces are theirs. This is their home. And even today, when I was cleaning with the oldest,
John's bathroom is sick, man. I wish you would finish that bathroom.
I'll get to
it. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah,
they have like diagonal stripes on their door.
The closet door.
It looks really cool.
The closet door's almost done. The other door has to be finished. But yeah, once it's all completely done and cohesive, and you replace, like, when we leave and you replace like the curtains to like coordinate with the colors and everything, like that bathroom's gonna be such a vibe. I mean, it's definitely on the way. But the cool thing is, like, the oldest, it was kind of her idea of like which colors to use and how to arrange it. You know what I mean? Like, and that
she has such an eye. She's very artistic.
Absolutely. And it's so fun to watch them kind of like grow in a home, and while it's not a permanent arrangement and it's not necessarily a long-term arrangement, which is what like will lead into the next and possibly potentially the last episode, talking about like what's next, like what's the timeline of like the phase out of the arrangement, right? Even then, we've briefly discussed, like, maybe we do want to make it a slightly bit longer of an arrangement because of the way that things might work in both of our favor to do so.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of like an open timeline, and it's really beautiful to have that, like, sense of peace that there is belonging. We are invited to be here and allow it to be our space, even though it is your house and your home.
Yeah.
And I just think that is such like a special thing that you have allowed and cultivated in our space. And
it makes me happy to see people happy, so.
Yeah. And then so I really wanted to touch on maybe just like a couple of your favorite memories of, like, since we have lived together, like the things that, let's say 35 years from now, for some reason we're not in touch, but a random memory hits you. What is that memory? Like, what are the things so far that have been memorable?
I feel like I probably will never forget that time we were out on the beach and everyone else wussed out and went inside. The sky was so ominous, and like the big lightning strike, and like Madeline doing some, like, it looks like she was controlling the lightning or whatever.
Yeah, we did like a whole photo shoot,
so
just
cool.
vibed out. And it like rained and stormed all around us, but it never really hit us. I think we got like a couple little sprinkles of water, but like,
that was fun.
Nothing crazy. That was really cool. That was really fun. I agree.
And then I probably won't forget like the Easter egg hunts, and like what is that in the Boondocks? We did
Boo in the Boondocks.
Boo in the Boondocks.
That was so fun.
Didn't we go back for Christmas in the Boondocks, or no? We only did Boo.
We only did Boo, but we did talk about Christmas. But we did. Oh no, we were gonna do potentially either that or Winterfest, and we opted out of both.
Yeah, and like probably Carowinds. I would remember that. Yeah,
Carowinds, absolutely. That's one of my favorite memories for sure. Is like last summer we had season passes to Carowinds, like, so
before I had to get a car and spend all my money on a car.
Before I was a broke bitch. No.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's a bit of a struggle when you take care of 5 people. Like,
absolutely. And lucky for you, that's going to start loosening up sooner than later, you know, but that has been another huge part, is like your consistency and your contribution and your generosity, just sharing your home and like constantly constantly spending every penny for what is needed and what, you know what I mean? Like even the little wants, like my middle knows how to work her. Like I can't even.
He does.
He blinks his eyes and pouts his lips and he gets whatever he wants. But
he gets just, I don't know, man. It makes me so sad. I'm like, oh my god.
He's like, please, this strawberry scented silly putty. And I'm like, no silly putty. And then they come out of the store with the silly putty. I'm like, bro, I literally said no silly putty. And she's like, I had to.
I couldn't.
I had to.
These very, yeah.
So, but getting back to what I was saying, like the original point I was making is just the memories of like, we had season passes to a whole theme park, a whole ass roller coaster and water slide park. Like it was amazing. Carowinds in the Carolinas is a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, it was fun.
And you opted into season tickets because originally the event was supposed to be, we were going to go for the oldest birthday to kind of like give her a really good memory and kind of make up for the year before because some traumatic things happened for her birthday.
Well, then she was like, well, you know, she mentioned her getting a season pass, I think from
Legoland.
And like, she was like, we only went like
3
2 or 3 times. And I was like, okay, well, I got the season pass, but I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to go that many times. Just
we still made it a few times.
3.5 hours away.
It's a mob. It's a whole trip. But that's the thing. So that's why it is just the summer of Carowinds. That experience is probably like memory wise for me. There's little things here and there that are just like personal, but that summer specifically is like, we brought her friend, the neighbor girl, with us for her birthday. We did Scarewinds, the Halloween experience, and that was, I'm a Halloween celebrating ass person. Like October is my month, okay? And so to be able to do Scarowinds and have that experience was so epic. I mean, riding roller coasters at night when it's all decorated and foggy and scary and strobe lights and it's dark and like, oh, it was such a vibe. Like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously her birthday, the first trip, just all of it. The summer of Carowinds is like a huge, for me, I will never forget that. Like the joy on my children's faces, experiencing different rides and roller coasters and games and like, I
did a good job on your birthday too, let's be
oh
honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
absolutely.
had a pretty
just
damn
all
good
last
birthday.
summer was really good to be on. The whole summer, last summer was really good. I'm looking forward to this summer.
You got like a present every day the week of your birthday.
Yeah, you guys showed up and showed out. I felt like a queen in this house the week of my birthday. I was treated. And the really special thing about that is like nobody's ever really gone above and beyond for me like that, except for one ex that I had. But it was, you thoroughly involved the kids in that experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was like a group effort and very much made me feel like I was celebrated and like loved and really like honored as mama. You know what I mean?
Until you got stung by a stingray.
Oh, I got impaled in the medius part of my foot
Seriously.
by a stingray.
Bank.
Okay, because I have to tell this, because I will never forget it, because I literally have a scar on my foot, you guys, a scar on my foot from it. The middle meaty part of my foot, I was out just body surfing in the ocean because I'm a bad bitch and that's what bad bitches do. I play mermaid, okay? I do. I play mermaid every chance I get. And so I'm like, wee, it's my birthday, wee, I'm in the ocean, wee, and I'm just like doing my thing. And I've got the girls with me, the little ones with me, and all of a sudden I feel a sharp pain in my foot, and I'm like, okay, that hurt, but I'll probably be okay. Like, I probably stepped on something, probably stepped on a shell, that sucks. And then I feel like this searing heat in my foot, and I'm like, something's really wrong. I don't think I'm going to be okay. And I like kind of pop out of the water, and I talk to the neighbor on the shore, and I'm like, hey, Ash, some really bad shit just happened, I think. I stepped on something or something, I don't even know. I said, I think I just got stung by a stingray.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? Because here's the thing. The actual physical feeling of it,
Yeah.
if you took a knife and heated it up, like hot, like searing hot knife, right? Mm-hmm. And you just did like a quick like, shh, shh.
That's what it would feel like.
That's what it felt like in my foot. And I was like, I don't know what else could possibly give me that sensation. And I know what's kind of how stingrays move and like what their vibe is, right? We lost Steve Irwin. I'm a millennial. It is seared into my brain the way those fucking creatures move, okay? And I'm like, no way, I'm gonna die the way Steve Irwin died. Not really, but low key, I was like freaking out. And I was like, it's okay, I'll be okay, I'm okay, right? I'm body surfing. And then I go to like step again, right? And I like push off in the sand on that foot.
Yeah.
And I feel a gush of blood into the water. And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I have to get out of the water right now. I'm definitely not okay. I was maybe out there for like 10 or 15 minutes.
No bueno.
And then I like scrambled my way out. And I was like, it hurts. I got hurt. And she's like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good. And I look down and it's like pouring blood. And she's like, I don't think you're good. I'm like, yeah, I think we should probably leave. So that will definitely be a memory. Absolutely. Yeah. But still, the day in that week was like good regardless. Yeah. You know what I mean? Okay, so then the last thing I kind of want to touch on is like moving forward. Obviously, generally things are good. It's working for us. Or both of us, or one of the two of us would have said, like, we would have put the kibosh on it. You're a real ass bitch. I'm a real ass bitch. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, it's not really working, but I'm going to do... No, neither one of us are like that. Neither one of us. Because there is no romantic dynamic between us.
Right.
It is simply a mutual agreement that is hopefully for the most part mutually beneficial in whatever ways, that whenever or if ever it's not working, we will sit down and discuss together what's not working, why, and what's the next step.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of already have.
We have multiple times.
Yeah.
It's come up a few times where you're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Or
I have said, listen, this is a lot. Like, this is your home. It just feels like maybe this might not be working. And we've sat down and we've discussed, okay, if it's not working, what is it?
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, things work just fine. It's just, there's little speed bumps, we're growing through things together as two adult women who have a shared ex who are raising his children together in his absence, because he's not around, he's not supporting us as of current, you know what I mean? And then navigating a friendship and a personal dynamic, just the two of us, right? Because we have become friends. I consider you a friend of mine. Like,
yeah.
All intents and purposes, I do not have any desire or plan to cut communication with you when I'm not living with you anymore.
Yeah,
I intend for you to be around. Maybe not full time, because that might not make sense. But popping it out on the holidays, you know, if you're on vacation or you're traveling, you're like, hey, I'll be in your area, or I'm leaving for 3 months to go fuck around in Europe. I just wanted to say bye to the kids and give them a hug. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely.
I hope that's what I say next.
I hope that for you too.
Fuck around in Europe.
And then, you know, years down the road, maybe we're all taking a cruise together, a family cruise. Yeah. But it's because you stood in as their bonus mother for blank amount of years. I mean, right now we don't know how long you will be in the picture as the bonus mom. As of now, we're closing in on 2 years pretty quickly. We're at 1.5 years. We're past 1.5 years.
And that doesn't even count the time that I was like
previous to our arrangement.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Agreed. And so you have really played a critical role in their happiness, their stability, and the consistent happy memories that are in their life. You know what I mean? And so obviously we don't want to lose that dynamic. We want to keep that open for you, you know, that avenue available for you to keep in contact and touch base with us whenever you feel comfortable, and get updates on the kids. And, you know, maybe in 5 years we're in a completely different place geologically, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be sending you an email every few weeks and being like, here's the pictures and videos of what the hell's been going on in our life. Like, quick catch up. You know what I mean?
I know. They're too amazing of kids to like ever think
just
that I wouldn't want them to like say hi every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And no matter where, like, what direction our lives turn, as far as I'm concerned, like, that at this point the avenue's open. I have no reason to kick you out of our lives or like not allow you to be a part of things, even though at some point you will be physically removed from our immediate family, because it will just be time to move on.
Yeah, it is already approaching time to move on for sure, you know, like.
Absolutely.
It's, you know, if I could commit the rest of my life to the kids, then I would, but I can't. Like, I only get one go around with my life, and it's time for me to like live my life again, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, also the economy and the way that things are going.
Absolutely.
But you know, also the economy and the way that things are going. I might not even be able to say, goodbye, because, it's tough. Like, taking care of a house,
That conversation
everything.
has come up already that,
Yeah.
Maybe we just
I don't
commit
know
to a
what
couple
the right
more
answer
years
is.
for what, just the mutual benefit. Yeah, we don't know what
We'll
the answer
see
is.
how it
We'll
goes.
see. It's very up in the air. We're just kind of playing it by ear. We're both remaining very flexible in regards to the situation. And I think it's worth noting that had we chosen to, or had the chemistry played out differently and we had become romantically involved on some level, because obviously that was never like fully ruled out at the beginning. Like, it was just like whatever was gonna be was gonna be. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And we're both in the rainbow community. We both identify as more sexually fluid than like cis, you know what I mean? So it is something that in another timeline or another life could have happened. Who freaking knows, honestly? We could have fucking ended up as lovers in a different day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe we would have gotten married and lived happily ever after, and that would have been the family story. But that's not our story.
Not our story
We're
right now.
friends.
Yeah.
We're soul sisters, honestly. I really feel like you're my soul sister. And that's so crazy to say, because anyone who knows me personally from before I moved in with you would be like, Kylie, what the fuck are you talking about? Because you maintained for a long time that you didn't like Christine and you didn't understand why that bitch wouldn't just walk away and just leave your family to be, you know what I mean? Like, I really
Probably
had...
because I was kept in a different tunnel.
Well, the triangulation obviously plays into that. But I had a completely different mindset 7 years ago, 5 years ago, even maybe potentially, 3 or 4 years ago. And it's not that I was like, oh, fuck Christy. I mean, no, at first I definitely was
I'm
like,
sure.
fuck that bitch. But I slowly kind of came around and I kind of like, started to peep the truth about things. And I'm a talker and I'm a gossiper and I'm always going to get the tea, right? And so being close to his sister, I'm like, what's up with this bitch? Because she won't go away. And she's like, no, low key. Like, she's not that bad. I don't get it. But honestly, like, she's not that bad. She loves my brother. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, he also acted like he loved me, so it's,
Well, what reason would you have to disappear if you thought you were mutually invested in a relationship,
exactly.
right?
I didn't. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's definitely one of those, like, my mindset shifted. And it's funny because I made a TikTok about this. Like, if you would have told me 10 years ago, with my baby about to turn 1 year old, I already left the state because I found out about you relatively recently, and I'm like, what the fuck with this shit? If you would have told me 10 years ago, that's where I was. I was in Joshua Tree, living with a friend, about to leave the state and go back home to my home state, Washington, and piece the fuck out on the situation because I was under the impression that my life was completely different than what the reality was, right?
Same.
If you would have told me, like, hey girl, by the way, this crazy home-wrecking bitch that you hate, that you're blaming for the destruction of your family, is actually going to be your saving grace, your soul sister, and one of your best friends, like, ultimately, I'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You need to go to an insane asylum.
You're
You're
crazy.
crazy.
The same thing. Like,
yeah. Because we were very heavily triangulated. We were both very heavily lied to and manipulated in the situation. And we were both madly in love with someone who was pretending to be someone they weren't, right? So we were very just generally misled. And a decade ago, I'd be like, okay, whatever you have to say, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. The proof is in the pudding. Show me the proof. But here I am, sitting next to you, living with you every single day, relying on your generosity and consistency and financial stability to help me gain my stability so that I can be the mother, the parent that I am meant to be and support my family properly, because we were entangled in a mutual mess, right? And that's what led us here. And it's such a beautiful story that has like played out ultimately, despite me being the person that I am, you know what I mean? My animosity at certain points, my disdain at certain points, my confusion at certain points, my anger at certain points.
I had all that, yeah.
Absolutely. We went through the phases of grief, you know what I mean? And even denial thrown in there for both of us in a lot of different aspects. And so it's one of those, with you being as intelligent and as articulate as you are, and same for me, from the outside looking in, you'd be like, how the hell did these two women get wrapped up with some weirdo that had them both fooled for a decade
He's
plus?
absolutely gorgeous, and he's incredibly intelligent.
And charismatic and all the things. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we also have our individual personal traumas that played into how and why we were manipulated. And at the end of the day, we became a team. We are allies, right? Exes to allies. We became a team and we co-parent beautifully, in my opinion. Obviously, we're not perfect by any means. Nobody's a perfect parent, in my opinion. And I am always looking for ways to improve and grow. I try to accept feedback and criticism from you and the kids and the professionals that are involved in our lives in regards to the children. And do better every day for them. But ultimately, I feel like it's a really beautiful situation that we have. And I feel blessed and I feel very grateful to have you as a friend and to have you as an ally and to have you as ultimately basically my only support system.
Well, thank you for saying it.
I would be lost without you, truly.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And, again, it's all to get you to be self-sufficient so that you and the kids can have a life, of your own. And
so can we touch on that for a second? Are you okay kind of diving into that for a quick second so when you say that, I understand what you mean, and the people closest to us understand what you mean, but from the outside looking in, it would seem like, well, why is this Kylie bitch so helpless? Like, why does she need your support? What, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, you're not helpless. It's just raising 3 children when one of them's autistic and the other 2 have some form of ADHD. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, 3 kids in any capacity is a lot as a single
then
parent.
You add that on top
You add that on top of it. And then just the general history and personal lore behind it, right? Between the abuse and the manipulation and the consistent moving and the lies and the whatever, right? Because the kids have been entangled in a lot of really crazy, fucked up situations.
Yeah.
But I'm not helpless, I'm not dumb, I'm not incapable, none of those things. I was wrapped up in a situationship where I was a stay-at-home mother, right? And I am a high school graduate. I am a veteran of the military. I have 2 trade degrees, right? I'm very capable. I am very capable. I have a lot of passion projects currently that are in the works, including this podcast that we're doing and the next one that's on the agenda, right? So why do I need your help? Why are you the person that's providing me the support when no one else would or no one else could, right? Well, at the end of the day, the country that we live in, politically, socially, economically, and then secondarily, the personal relationship that I have with my co-parent and how drastically different it was not that long ago, right? It was like a complete change, like a literal 180 in life circumstances. That is very hard to recover from. And unfortunately for me, in my personal life before meeting you, family, friends, what have you, even those who have been a support system in certain ways have not been able to fully commit or haven't had a reason to fully commit to being my stability and my support system, to get on my feet, to get away from him and the reliance and the codependency that is involved with a narcissistic situationship and you know what I mean, co-parenting dynamic or whatever.
Yeah.
So essentially you are the angel from above that was like, not my circus, not my monkeys, but hell, that circus looks fun as fuck. Let's try it for a hot minute, I guess. Buy me 5 tickets. You know what I mean? Let's do the damn thing. And so I did just want to touch on, while I am capable, I do have resources in a sense. None of them fully line up in a way that would not be to the detriment of my children without an actual physical financial
because we
support
played
system.
out a bunch of different scenarios, and every time I was like, oh yeah, I get where you're coming from on that. Everything seems like a roadblock when you have 3 children and you're supposed to be taking care of them by yourself. It's there's a lot of roadblocks there.
A lot, because you have to be able to be employed full time to make ends meet financially, right?
And you need a residence in order to have a job, and just a bunch of other
all
stuff.
of it. It's all intertwined, and if you don't have every piece of the puzzle set into place, it just doesn't work in your favor. So you, like I said, angel from above, you're like, listen, until I say I'm fucking done, whatever it takes, we'll do it. Let's get you good. Let's get these kids good. Let's make sure that his chaos and his bad decisions and his manipulation and his insistence on changing the course of our life path is not to the detriment of those innocent children. Because they did not ask to be here. And we've even talked about the fact that if I knew then, pre-kids, what I know now, I would not have chosen that for me nor for them. I definitely would not have. But I can't go back. I can't choose differently.
You didn't think it would end up this way.
I never thought it would end up this way. But we're navigating it to the best of our ability. And I gained a friend out of it. And a vacation buddy someday when I'm free from, the restraints of the raising of the children, and we can actually go enjoy our money and our time.
To actually
reflect on,
fun
oh my god, do you remember 23 years ago? When we were raising those hellions?
Oh my gosh.
So, next week, we'll be touching on what's next, right, in the timeline. Just the general sense of what are the expectations on your end, what are the expectations on my end, and kind of how we're gonna try to get there, right? Because this does need to have an end at some point, right? We're not fully committed to each other for life, so we gotta find an end game, and we have to find one that works mutually for both of us, right? So that's what we'll be talking about next week, which is, a fun topic. And if at any point anybody decides to engage enough to ask questions or want to get a little bit deeper into anything, we may or may not do a Q&A episode just to kind of dive a little bit deeper into the things that people really want to know about. You know what I mean?
If people have questions, then definitely want to know.
Yeah.
And during our lives, people can put questions in the chat.
Questions in the chat, questions in the posts, questions in the replays on YouTube. We're constantly checking each social media platform just to see who's engaging and what's going on. So thank you for tapping in with us this week, guys. Thank you for listening to us talk about all of our favorite parts of our arrangement and how it's going well for us. And we will see you next week at 9 for episode 9.